All right, y'all. Look, when something don't feel right, it just don't feel right. And I did a full video on the main channel, but there's a new clip that I want to watch. It's from this TikTok creator, right? And it just breaks down everything after they had the press conference. And so we can get into a little bit more details about the cell phone, about the car, pretty much about everything and why none of this makes sense. And I mean none of it. I watched a good bit of the press conference, and I swear, sometimes I just can't help but think a lot of this stuff is theater, performative, almost reminding me of Erica Kirk. The thing is, though, you know, um, having Ben Crump by their side, it I don't know. I was kind of at a loss for words. Of course, they got Al Sharpton. It just seemed like theater. And you get these lone faces from the parents at times, especially the dad. It kind of just seemed like the dad just wanted to, every picture or capture of the dad is this right here. Eyes down, head down. You see this? And I'm showing y'all different angles. Every time, look, eyes closed, head down, this same type of look every single time. And it just seemed so performative. It just did not seem real, as if they're just getting up there and acting away as they are told to do. This case has gotten these people, you know, it's moved along very fast as far as getting Al Sharpton and Ben Crump. The Prince Hall Freemason, I wouldn't be surprised if he's 33rd degree. But anyways, let's get into the clip. This is from his name is Dwight Thomas, and it's just the math is not mathing. Check it out.
After watching the press conference that Nolan Wells' parents did alongside Ben Crump and Reverend Al Sharpton, there are even more important key details that have come out that we need to be talking about. Let's start with the fact that the parents went to the exact location where the body was found the day before the body was found, and there was no body there. Yes, you heard me correctly.
Wait, y'all know what that instantly reminded me of? They went to the location where the body was found the day before, and then the next day the body just showed up at the same location that they searched. What happened recently that reminded me of that? And it happened here in Georgia. Y'all remember when Lil Jon's son died, right? They said the police had searched that exact area where Lil Jon's son was found the next day, or like 2 days later or something like that. They'd already searched that exact area. Same, same MO.
So Nolan Wells' father says in the press conference that he didn't have access to a boat to go and look for his son that night. So early that morning, 5 o'clock in the morning the next day, one of his coaches called Nolan Wells' father and said that he would take them out on a boat. They went out to the island looking for Nolan. They looked all over the island and could not find him. Now, it's also important to note that there were people that had stayed overnight on the island. So, if Nolan was actually stuck on the island, there were people there that he could have asked for help. There were also two boats that were docked. So, at the very least, he would have had shelter until he was able to find help. Now, they went out to Horn Island on the 5th looking for him. On the 6th, they got a call saying that his body washed up to the shore and they found it, but his parents had just been there the day before. Now, what's also important to note is that when Nolan's parents went to the friend's house where his car was parked, the friend was giving them a hard time about giving them the keys to Nolan's car. Nolan's father asked the friend to go in his room and look for Nolan's keys so that he could get into the car. The friend, which by the way is one of the friends who was on the boat, went in the room, for however long, said he couldn't find the keys, came back, told the father he couldn't find them, and then the father heard him on a phone call with some young lady, and the young lady said the keys were on top of the Xbox.
I'm not gonna lie. If this is my son's car and he's missing, and y'all talking about giving me a hard time on my son car to get the car, so I mean get the keys so I can take the car, I'm beating somebody to sleep if this is real. My son missing, and you not trying to give me the keys to my son's car is insane.
You, he just said that he went and looked all over his room for the keys and couldn't find them. Then he gave the father the keys. Now, after the father was given the keys, the police were already on their way, and the family closed the door and refused to have any further interaction with Nolan's family or the police. Why? Another important detail is that the friends and one of the friends' mothers, who's a judge, reported that they left that island somewhere between 3 and 4:30, which is also very inconsistent. Nolan's mother did not get a phone call about Nolan not returning back to land until 11:07 p.m. Now, mind you, the young lady who they keep saying Nolan was with said that she saw him getting on a boat with his friends at 3 p.m. And his friends then left with his phone while he was still on an island and didn't think to reach out to his parents
Eight
till
hours
11:07 at
later.
night to let them know that their son wasn't there. Oh, and let's not forget that they did not tell her that they had the phone. She had to track it with her friend and have her friend go and get it. And they also gave her friend a hard time about getting the phone. The math ain't mathing.
That don't make no sense, y'all. The whole story don't make no sense. So supposedly they leave the little island. They say they had a friend who said they saw Nolan getting on the boat 3:30, 4 o'clock. They don't let the mom know that he's not coming back on that boat until 11 o'clock at night, 8 hours later. Pulled an 8 hour shift without letting nobody know. And they had his phone. Took possession of the phone and had the keys to the car. And then didn't want to give it back to his own parents. Man, somebody said I'm stuck on Nolan's car being at that boy's house and him acting like he couldn't find the keys. Yeah, that is insane, bro. I would have started beating folks to sleep. I don't care who it is. I don't care how old you is. Somebody would have been getting beat to sleep. Since somebody said Nolan died before they left the island, they took the phone because it would appear that Nolan made it back to shore, then proceeded to leave or go AWOL. However, the story gained traction very quickly, so they had to reinvent the story. Delete anything off phones and computers and snaps does nothing in 2026. Oh, yeah, we already know that. It ain't do nothing 20 years ago. You watched First 48 for that. Her having to track the phone is blowing my mind. Yeah, bro. Kids didn't even say nothing. Hey, yeah, we have your son's phone. Think about it. Don't nothing like that happen in real life, y'all. I'm almost thinking this whole thing ain't even real. It just nothing happens like that in real life. No kids, you know, it just doesn't unless this is they really did what they did and this was just a part of trying to keep everything on the low and hide what they really did, then okay. But it just don't make sense. They deleted the Snapchat video on Nolan phone because it wasn't consistent to their story. I mean, and if you think about it, if they didn't tell the mom that Nolan didn't come back for 8 hours, that's a lot of time to get a story together and have other people, aka a judge, help you out on what is about to happen. Somebody said no matter which way this story is swinging, it's still not adding up. Definitely not. I concur. The math ain't mathing. Deleting messages is a huge red flag. Teens don't move without their phones in 2026, so for sure. I don't know, y'all. Like I said, it feels like theater. Um, you got a high-ranking Freemason involved. You got Reverend Al Sharpton involved. Um, some just it definitely ain't adding up. The math definitely ain't mathing. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this, man. If y'all want to check out the full video I did where it goes more into, some of the symbolism and stuff. It is on the main channel. I'll link it under the description. I'm out.